Hey, welcome to Ducks No Sports. This week, I gave my top 10 WrestleMania moments of all time. Of course, WrestleMania happens this Sunday on pay-per-view. Should be a great card. I mean, Rock, Cena, what more do I have to say? But should be a great, great match. Alright, now my top 10 moments. Number 10, John Cena wins his first WWF Championship at WrestleMania 21 over JBL. You know, two guys at the time, John Cena wasn't that technical sound in the ring, and JBL more of a fighter kind of guy. And they put on a really good match considering both guys are kind of raw in a way, but John Cena winning his first WWE Championship and really started his career to main event status, one of the greatest superstars of all time in the history of WWE. And WrestleMania 20 was an interesting event because this was no Rock, no Stone Cold. So it was the first one where Vince McMahon had to push his young stars, and John Cena was one of those young stars he pushed. And he pushed them hard, and in the process became one of the greatest superstars of all time. But it all started at WrestleMania 21, and that was a great match. And it was one of the greatest moments in history of WWE and WrestleMania. Number 9, Stone Cold Steve Austin sells his soul to the devil and turns heel at WrestleMania 17. You know, leading up to this match, you kind of see Stone Cold was going heel. And then, you know, when Vince McMahon came down during the match, nobody knew why he came during the match, and then basically hands the chair to Austin. Then he just, like, repeatedly hits the chair of The Rock, and then pins him and wins his first, and wins the WWF Championship. Great moment. I mean, Stone Cold Steve Austin wanted to turn heel for a while at that point, and just wanted to be heel, wanted to take one last run with the title as a heel, and did it. Was a great. That year was great. Him turning heel, and wanted this for a while, and he did it, and was great. Fuck, I'm stupid. All right, number 9, Stone Cold Steve Austin turns heel at WrestleMania 17. By joining an alliance, so to speak, with Vince McMahon. I mean, during the match, well, before the match, actually, it just got announced that it was like a no DQ match, which nobody knew going in. Then Vince McMahon comes down near the end of the match, hands Stone Cold a chair, and then basically takes a chair and repeatedly hits The Rock to win the WWF Championship. And he wanted to turn heel for a while at that point, and he got some real heat that year. I mean, he was a very good heel. And Stone Cold Steve Austin turning heel at WrestleMania 17, one of the greatest moments in the history of WrestleMania. Number 8, Edge versus Mick Foley, WrestleMania 22 hardcore match. Probably the greatest hardcore match ever seen in WWE. I mean, so good. They did so many great spots. I mean, they brought the baseball bat, you know, steel chairs, tacks. You know, they even set, the finish was actually pretty cool. It was Lita, who was Edge's manager at the time, set a table on fire. Then Edge speared Mick Foley through the table. A dangerous match, but in the match really made Edge from kind of mid-card to main event status. He never really looked back, and this really helped Edge in his career. One more thing on this match. Big ups to Edge going into the Hall of Fame this year, one of my favorite guys of all time. And Edge, big ups going into the Hall of Fame this year, well deserved. Number 7, HBK, the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, Mr. Main Event, Mr. WrestleMania versus Undertaker, The Streak at WrestleMania 25. I could have gone on WrestleMania 25 or 26, but I went with 25 because the match was so good. And there was so many great spots. I mean, Shawn Michaels hitting the sweet chin, Undertaker kicking out, you know, Undertaker doing the tombstone, Shawn Michaels kicking out. So good. I mean, those WrestleManias back-to-back were some of the greatest matches of all time. And Shawn Michaels, when it comes to WrestleMania, he is the king. I mean, he is what he says he is, Mr. WrestleMania. Number 6. Stone Cold Steve Austin beats Shawn Michaels to win his first WWF Championship WrestleMania 14. You know, we talk about this match, I guess, when people talk, it's not so much the match, but what went behind the scenes of this match. I mean, Shawn Michaels at the time was very cocky, very young, and, you know, didn't always do the right thing. And there was a lot of talk that maybe he wasn't going to lay down for Stone Cold, because Stone Cold was supposed to win this match, but there was talks that maybe HBK wasn't going to lay down for Stone Cold, but he ended up doing it. He ended up doing the right thing. And Austin, as soon as he won that title, man, his career skyrocketed. I mean, it went from here to there. I mean, Stone Cold Steve Austin, one of the greatest superstars of all time, and this really started to start his career upwards. And Austin wins the WWF Championship at WrestleMania 14 over Shawn Michaels. Mike Tyson, of course, was the special guest ref, knocks out Michaels, and Austin wins. And Stone Cold Steve Austin, one of the greatest superstars, and winning his first title, one of the greatest moments in the history of WrestleMania. Number 5. Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels, first ever Iron Man match. I mean, so good. This went on, obviously, the Iron Man match went on an hour, went more. I mean, because it went to OT. Of course, I don't think there was a pinfall during the actual match, the actual, like, hour, because if you watch this match from start to finish, so good. Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, two of the best at their craft. I mean, they did so many great spots. And, of course, the finish was Shawn Michaels hits Bret Hart with a sweet chin. And then pins him 1, 2, 3. Shawn Michaels' first ever WWF championship. And just a great moment. I mean, it doesn't matter WrestleMania or just all WWE, great moment to see Shawn Michaels win his first WWF championship at WrestleMania 12, I believe it was WrestleMania 12. Number 4, the first ever ladder match between Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon, a.k.a. Scott Hall. You know, great match. And when we talk about ladder matches here, ladder matches to me is my favorite kind of match because you do so many spots in a ladder match. I mean, you look at this match, I mean, Shawn Michaels using the ladder as a weapon, you know, doing so many spots. I mean, you can do so much in a ladder match. And this really started, I mean, Shawn Michaels lost, but Razor Ramon won, but this really started my love affair with ladder matches. And a ladder match, let's face facts, ladder matches are the best kind of a match. And yeah, ladder match. Shawn Michaels is on my list a lot because he is what he says he is, Mr. WrestleMania. Number 3, this is where I'm probably get a lot of heat right now, but number 3, a lot of people think this is 1, but I think number 3 is Hogan slamming Andre the Giant, WrestleMania 3. WrestleMania 3 wasn't really big. WrestleMania wasn't really big till WrestleMania 3, and this really started get up WrestleMania. I mean, Hulk Hogan, the champion at the time, versus Andre the Giant. You know, nobody's like, Andre the Giant was just a beast. I mean, you saw him, picks him up, slams him to the ground. Nobody's ever picked up Andre the Giant before that. You know, beats him. But to me, this is only number 3 because I think my number 2 moments are way, way better. Number 2, which is a moment you probably will never see in these WWE recall things, but Chris Benoit winning the title over Triple H at WrestleMania 20. That's not my moment. But after, when Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit hugged. I mean, two guys that went through a lot together. I mean, two guys that weren't really expected to do much in their career, had to go to Japan, and had to get to WWE on the hard way. I mean, didn't have the look. I mean, weren't that big. You know, weren't really great in the mic. Had to basically earn their craft and become great wrestlers. In WCW, I think it was Kevin Nash called them the midgets. They basically kind of tried to bury him, but it took a while. They got to WWE. I think that was like their 5th or 6th year in WWE, and then finally won the titles. And like Eddie Guerrero, of course, won the WWE Championship, and Chris Benoit was the World Champion. So the two main champions to these guys come out and they hug each other. Great moment. I almost cried. I mean, it was such a great moment. But when we talk about WrestleMania, and we talk about the greatest moment in the history of WrestleMania, we gotta talk about two icons going head to head at WrestleMania 18. Rock, Hogan. I mean, not the greatest match in the world, but it was what it was. You know, it was a pretty good match considering Hulk Hogan was pretty old, and The Rock, not the greatest wrestler in the world, but a pretty solid one. And just a dream match. I mean, when you talk about probably the two greatest superstars of all time in the top 5, Hogan and Rock are up there, and just a dream match. I mean, one of my first WrestleManias I watched, I think it was my first WrestleMania. Such a great match. I mean, such a great moment. Just that stare down at the start was so good because the crowd, I mean, they thought going in The Rock would get cheered more than Hogan, but it was the opposite. Hogan, this really started Hogan being a fit face again just because the crowd was so hot for these two, which was in Toronto, which is kind of risky because with Toronto crowds, you never really know. Because they can either be a really hot crowd or a really shitty crowd. But, you know, this moment, I mean, I get goosebumps every time I see it. I mean, such a great moment. Rock, Hogan, two of the greatest of all time. And, in my opinion, it's the greatest moment in the history of WrestleMania. Well, that's it. That's my list. Like it. Don't like it. Leave a comment on below to see if disagree, agree. Of course, I'll probably get a lot of disagrees about my number 1 moment, but to me, Rock Hogan is the greatest moment in the history of WrestleMania. Alright. Till next time, I'm Aaron Ducks for saying I'm Ducks, and I know sports. Kind of.